Hey y'all, Moses here. In today's training room video, we're going through the Vikendi loot guide. Since Vikendi's release, a lot of talk has been going on about the loot balance and how things used to be in different maps like Erangel, Miramar, and Sanhok. Vikendi provides something a little bit different. DMRs are hard to come by, and finding that long-range alternative can be tough. I'm going to go through the Vikendi loot guide as I see it, talk about how I've been gearing myself, and more in today's video. So without further ado, let's get started. When Vikendi came out, it was a bit of a wondrous occasion. A lot of players jumped in for the first time, not really knowing what to expect. Myself included, really. I mean, over time, I started to notice that, yes, SMGs were very prevalent, ARs were a little bit hard to come by, attachments were kind of weird, but over time, and with the new test server patch, things are about to change, or at least a little bit. DMRs, again, are going to be reduced, and SMGs are going to be bolstered with the new Bison, a weapon that seems to really take to the canted sight model that we have been at least able to experience at least a little bit. Now, not a lot of footage of the Bison in this video just due to the fact that test server footage was a little bit hard to come by. But essentially, I think the way that meta is going to go, at least the way it has been in Vikendi for me, is to the dual AR meta, something that we experienced a lot last year before the weapon rebalance patch around patch 14. So with the dual AR meta, at least on Vikendi, you're going to be looking to have a primary AR, and with a 20% increase in ARs, that should be a little bit easier. Maybe the G36 or the M4 supplemented by something like the AK, or even if you want to go full long range, you can take the M16 in addition to whatever AR you feel like you want to use. Now, the dual AR meta is essentially a poor man's DMR meta. Now, with all the different attachments being able to go on either or gun, I think that with the dual AR meta, that finding the M16 and getting used to it again is going to be important. But I think you kind of lose a bit of a step against some of the different players depending on RNG. Going head-to-head with an AR against a DMR is going to be a little bit rough considering the damage differential. So in my opinion, the best way to get looted, at least in the early game, is to just grab whatever you can. And if you're a hot dropper, the Micro Uzi, as you can see in that first clip, is super powerful in the early game, but flexing to an AR as quickly as possible is going to be your first step. Now, the second step is likely going to be an M16 or another M4 or whatever you can find, plus a 4x scope, because that's going to be the most prevalent scope you can find. So really, when it comes to looting and getting geared, you have to decide how you want to move about Vikendi. Are you an aggressive player or are you a slow player? Now, if you're an aggressive player, I would recommend, again, that dual AR. I think that finding that second AR, be it the M16 or maybe another kitted M4 if you can find it, or whatever you want to use. A G36 is fine as well, and going for that 4x AR route is going to be important if you're an aggressive player. Having the AR as your secondary allows you to be a little bit more movement flexible, so you can move around a little bit, you can switch your weapons without losing too much of a step in speed and damage when you're going against other aggressive players. Now, where it's going to be a bit more of an issue is when you come across an entrenched player, a slow player, someone who's inside a building, who has level 3 gear. It's going to be very difficult to displace that person with only ARs at your disposal unless you get aggressive and run at them. Now, not to say you're going to run directly at them, but if you're in a circle advantage position where they might have a better spot than you in the circle and you're trying to displace them, getting at them when they have that full gear is going to be hard when you're trying to land that headshot to try then take them out at distance. So I believe that maybe incorporating SMGs into your breach and clear mentality might be important as well. And if you're going to choose something, I would say the Vector is probably the best choice there. Going Vector AR is also an interesting choice. I've done that in a couple of different games. You can kind of flex to the AR when you need that mid-range stopping power that the Vector doesn't really provide. You can slap on a 4x scope on a fully kitted M4 relatively easily. So if you're looking for a breach and clear build, I would say that a Vector and an M4 would be a good combination for Vikendi, where you're trying to get up close and personal with people who are camping, and then you're going to have to use that M4 exclusively for long range, which you're going to lose out on against bolt action rifles. Speaking of bolt action, I think that the bolt action rifle is going to see a bit of a resurgence with the reduction of the level 3 helmet and the level 3 vest. This is a good thing for Vikendi. The SRs are not going to be changed, but that's going to lead again to the standard issue build of SMG Kar 98 M4 Kar 98 or just AR Kar 98 in general. You can go for the ammo synergy with the AK. But in my opinion, the AK is probably the weakest choice on Vikendi considering the engagement distance you typically find. I think it's a slow firing weapon, so really up close engagements you might lose out to SMGs, and those medium range distances you're not going to get the spray that you're going to want from the AK. So the AK is really losing a lot of stock in my opinion. So if you're going to pick a gun, at least in an AR category, the M4 is going to be king. The G36 just has a little bit too much kick for me, and I think the M4 is still going to be the best choice. Really, however you gear yourself, you really want to have a long-range alternative and an up-close house-clearing alternative as well. However you choose to decide which weapons those are, just keep in mind that you're going to be facing players with level 3 gear a lot of the time, especially in the endgame. So keep that in mind, and if you happen to find a DMR, well, thank you, lucky stars. Find the crate loot. Try your best to equalize the playing field against those level 3 geared players, and if you're a really good shot, maybe that bolt-action rifle will serve you well. Thanks for taking the time to watch this Vikendi loot guide video. If you liked the video, subscribe to this channel for more content like this in the future, and leave a like down below as well. If you have any thoughts, feel free to leave a comment, and follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/wtfmoses and on Twitch at twitch.tv/wtfmoses. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, guys, and until next time, I'll see you out there.